Welcome back to the Buff Babes Fit Pod, my little ducklings. Your favorite trainer chicks, Heather and Katie here. And this week we are talking about goals. New Year's resolutions have a very high failure rate. So we want to talk about how you can set appropriate goals for yourself to make sure they are actually a success for you this year.
So let me think here. So I wanted to open with client's question. It's important to me to try to have client's question or someone's question or something every episode. And so this is our first client question
Ooh, yay. Let's hear it.
from my client, Miss Sally. It's a good one. And I'm not going to answer it right away because we're going to kind of answer it over the episode. But
Okay.
her question was, should a person's goals be broad at the beginning of one's journey and then get more specific, or should all goals be broad but attainable? So we're going to kind of get into that. But do you have any thoughts off the top of your head?
Yes, like immediately off the top of my head, I thought both because no matter what, when you're starting a fitness journey, right? You're hiring a coach because you already have a goal in mind, right? So there's a
Yeah.
goal right there, like I want to lose weight or I want to fit into this by this day because I have an event to go to. So really, in all perspective, and I know we're going to talk about this the whole episode, it's really you're going to have goals in the beginning, you're going to have goals halfway there. I mean, you're going to have new goals pop up because maybe you try an exercise and you're like, oh man, my goal is to be able to do that now with 50s instead of 15s or something
Yeah.
like that, right? So it really that goes a long way, and it's always good. And I know you're going to hit on this as well, but having short-term goals, long-term goals, real, achievable, attainable, realistic. So
I love that. So you gave the perfect intro to our episode on goals. That's an overview of everything we're going to break into here. And so two, just we're going to hit it from kind of what we do with our clients and with ourselves, but exactly what you said. So people come to us, and especially this time of year, everyone's got their New Year's resolutions, which is important. People hit on them and knock on them a lot, and I don't think that's right. I've been guilty of it myself,
yep.
making fun of it because there's such a high failure rate. There was a study that I looked up,
Hmm.
2018, that said only 8% of New Year's resolutions are reached.
Wow.
8%.
Wow, that's
That's pretty
interesting.
small. And so,
Mhm.
there's a reason why they kind of have a bad rap, I suppose. Um, Usually by the middle of January to the end of January, they're dead. And
Mhm.
so why this is people really seem to struggle to understand goals that include specific strategies,
Mhm.
how to kind of check in and see if they're progressing or not, or if they were even realistic in the first place. So something that I've heard you talk about with your clients, which, we use kind of loosely, but the SMART goals, that
Mhm.
we
Yes.
probably learned in school, the specific,
Yep.
measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Um, it's a good guideline for
Yep.
most people
Yep.
because most people come, like you said, this time of year, I wanna cut out all sugar. I wanna lose 30 pounds. I want to eat better. I wanna drink
Yep.
more water, like, very, very broad,
Mhm.
vague goals and no timeline, and there are also too, a lot of them. 30 pounds is a lot of weight. How are we
Yep.
gonna get there? There's so many ways we could get there. So, when you have a client come to you with these big, broad goals, do you want to kind of run through some things you do to help them be a little more specific?
So that's actually a great question. So a lot of times, I've had a few come to me and say, I want to be down. Yep. Well, actually, for example, one of my clients the other night said, I've lost 15 pounds so far. I really want to get to a goal weight of about 125. And I looked at her and I said, I mean, that's definitely possible, but we need to let's bring that down a little bit because 125 is about what I weigh. And we have completely different body types. And she's definitely bigger boned than I am. So I think that the number on the scale is definitely something that's like a bad example. So I think I will tell my clients, I'm like, okay, losing 1 to 2 pounds a week is normal. So if you want to lose that amount of weight, 30 pounds, that's about 15-ish minimum weeks. So that's a few months that we're going to have to dedicate to this. So I try to also put in a timeline for that because,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of people want the magic overnight and it just does not work that way. We all know it. And I think it's good to have that, like, okay, that's a great end goal. So what do we want to lose maybe by this month? Or what are we
And
going
that
to do
it
to
holds
get
them
there?
accountable because if they're just like, "I wanna lose 30 pounds this year," it's like, well, also, a year is a great timeline, but, if you don't put anything on, or like I said, "I just wanna be down at this weight," Well,
Mhm.
what if 8 months goes by and you've lost 7 pounds of a
Right,
30-pound goal? I'm not saying that's bad, but is that really what you wanted? Probably
right.
not. So let's look at, like you said, it helps them understand that it may take longer than they expect, but it's going to hold them to something so they're not spending the next 2 years losing 10 pounds.
Exactly.
If their goal is otherwise, if they're
Yep,
good with that, whatever. I think that too, like when a client comes to me, I kind of try to first figure out why they have this goal because I feel unfortunately a lot of people set goals based on what they think they need to do.
yep,
So they think they need to cut sugar to be healthier, completely, or they think that they need to, do these extremes based on what they're hearing from
yes,
media or relatives that, have short-term weight loss success, things like that. Or they have a goal kind of imposed upon them by someone else, like a family
yes,
member. It's kind of pushing them there, which I am very wary of. And I kind of like to deconstruct those kind of goals real quick. What do you want?
yes,
What oh, you wanna start running. Do you like running? And
yep,
I would say the vast majority of people don't, but they think they
yeah,
have to run to lose weight. So it's like, okay, if you wanna run, if you love running, let's do it. Like, I'm
yep,
all for it. But why do you want to run? Oh, you wanna run to lose weight? Okay, well, here are some other things that we can do to
yep,
lose weight.
yep.
So that's what I first try to figure out why they have this goal,
I like that a
and
lot.
then
I
and then
really like
exactly
that.
what you said.
Yeah. And I really do like that too because I mean, and 30 pounds, like if you think about it, I mean, 30 pounds is a lot. And that's just an
It
example. Like
is.
we get clients all the time that say, I want to lose 100 pounds. I want to lose 50 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that breaking it down for them, like, that is an awesome goal,
yeah,
but you have to I like the why of that because I kinda wanna dig into that too with my clients, like, "Yeah, why do you feel like that? You Is that something that maybe you used to be? Or like you said, is it somebody that you
sure.
see?" But that's where we can actually have issues though, and it's similar to posting progress photos that we do on Instagram, right? Because somebody that's in the same program, quote unquote, could be like, wow, like they've been in this shorter than me and they've lost so much more weight. But it's like everybody's different. And that's
Yeah,
something too. Like, do you have a hormone issue? Are you truly not being consistent? Maybe this person who lost the 60 pounds has been consistent every single day. And then, maybe for this other person who's seeing that, it's like, okay, but you took this week kind of off, you took this week off. Like, it's really, you can't compare yourself to other people. It's you versus you and your journey. And I think that that's something that we do definitely hit on a lot with our clients. I would love to look like certain people. I mean, gosh, Whitney Jones is a huge freaking, I love her. And granted, I wouldn't want to get to my body type. I will never get there. I know myself, I can never get there. But it's something to idolize and strive for sure. But yeah, it's just, we all want to look like something we're
something
not. And
fun to see, like, right? Like,
yes,
you like to see what she can push
yes,
herself to, and it helps you. Cause same with me, like, there are people that have been in similar situations, I mean, but they even have a different life and a different body, but it's like, "Oh, okay, if I see this other woman lifting weights, I can lift weights. If I see this other, you know, single working mother, getting her nutrition right, I can," it's inspiring. Maybe we're not gonna be
right,
exactly like them, right? So I like that you focus on your clients. Let's be realistic, which is one of the markers of having good goals. Is it realistic for your lifestyle? That's one thing I wanted to talk about next is, if you are sitting on the couch and you don't go to the gym at all and you're terrified of the gym, saying that you're going to go to the gym 5 days a week, having that be your first goal, it doesn't need to be. First of all, again, that usually comes from people thinking they have to be in the gym 5 days a week to see any progress,
right.
which is absolutely not true, especially if you're sedentary.
Yep,
Even small changes will make a big impact.
yep.
But you're not. That's not realistic. I don't want to. I'd have to double my workout intake. That sounds awful right now.
Mhm.
So let's start small. If you're
Yes.
not doing it at all, let's do 2 times a week. Or
Mhm.
let's start walking after dinner for 15 minutes 3 times a week. Those
Yes.
little things will actually make a change and make
Yep.
an impact on your life.
I
And
love
they're
that.
more realistic and they're not agonizing.
Great. Well, and you don't wanna go and kill yourself in the gym day 1, and then you're so sore because you haven't done
Yeah,
anything that you associate it with more
that too.
pain, or you're like,
Yep.
What did I do to myself?" Or that also brings fear of going to the gym because they don't wanna
Yeah.
feel that way.
Yeah.
So,
You're gonna be discouraged. True.
yeah, exactly. Or even like, starting with the home workouts, get yourself a couple pair of dumbbells, get yourself a kettlebell band, whatever,
Yeah.
and you could start small, start
Especially
small.
if gym fear is an issue, which it is for a lot of people, even me. Like when I go to new gyms, I just started at a new gym. Like The
Mhm.
first day I sat in my car for like a solid 15 minutes, like, okay, go inside, go inside, go inside.
Right. The gym anxiety is real. It is such a
Very
real
much.
thing. And
Very legitimate.
yeah, I mean, I even took it to, I went and met one of my one-on-ones at the gym because she was like, I want to go, but I don't know how to use these things. And I was like, okay, if
Mhm.
you're dedicated to this, like I will meet you down there. And we did. And I showed her some stuff. But guess what? I haven't been in a big gym like that either. And I got a little nervous. So I was like, man, it's been a minute since I've been into like an LA Fitness or an EOS or whichever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. I'm so used to our small
Overwhelming.
little local community.
Yeah.
Yes. So
It's very
like
overwhelming.
I'm kind of glad that that happened to me too, because now I can also
Yeah.
like kind of put myself back in those
Relate.
shoes. Like,
Mhm.
wow, you know what? This is real. So I give my clients a lot of props for just doing it, get in there
Yeah.
and do it.
Getting in the door is really, really one of the hardest parts. Honestly, the workout's usually a lot easier than getting up the courage to go to a new gym or be back at
Right.
the gym if you haven't in a long time. Even when I don't know if you remember me sharing in my stories a long time ago, but when I worked at EOS, I worked there. And I would have anxiety so bad sometimes that I'd hang out in the locker room for a while before I'd
Right.
go do my workout. I knew all these people,
Yep.
but it just whatever. It's a weird thing to do in front of a bunch of other people.
Oh yeah, when I went to LA Fitness, I used to work out actually like all by myself all the time. And then I saw somebody that I used to work with and we started working out together. And then I started getting that like, hey, when are you going tomorrow? Like, what time you
Yeah.
go?
Your little
And then when they
safety
weren't
net,
there
your
yet, I'd
blanket.
go and like sit in the locker room, sit in the sauna, same thing and I'm like, okay, they're here. I can walk out now. Like, even though I had
Yeah.
been there 100 times already. But I mean, even for us trainers, like it does
Yeah.
happen. And, again, so we understand the feeling of it, but just know that it's going to be okay. So we have to like overcome that
Sure.
fear and just understand that nobody's looking at you. And if they do, give them the stink eye if you want.
No, most people, and most of the time, if someone's looking at you, I mean, this is what I say to my clients too. For one thing, if someone really is judging you, which it doesn't happen a lot, most people are inspired by you or you're just a new face. So they're just trying to see if they recognize you. But most of the time, if someone's really judging you, they're just a judgmental person. You're
Yes.
going to get judged at the grocery store. You're going to get judged at the post office, like wherever you'll be judged and you can't just live in your house forever. And then you're judged behind keyboards. So, yeah. Okay. So with my clients, I like to do for the year, whether or not they intend on being with me for a year, I like to set them up with a year of goals. And so we pick usually 2 to 3 big ones,
Yep.
and they're broad. Like you said, it can be, I want to lose 30 pounds or, I want to run a 5K. So
Yep.
then I take them. Now it depends on the person. Some people love to tick boxes. Some people love to do lists. Some people don't want to be that heavy on it. So based on the person, and what they like, we'll set monthly goals or weekly goals.
Mhm.
Um, Anything more than that is probably a little excessive, but we kind of have things to focus on each week to get us there. So if they're trying to run a 5K, okay, how are we going to increase mileage from now? And then number one thing too is like, let's pick a 5K. Find a 5K so we know the timeline that we have, one that you want to do within a reasonable amount of time. And then now we kind of know, okay, we can make sure you're running this many miles this week, and we're going to include strength training so that you can avoid injuries. Now we're going to know the timeline we have. So that's just one example, but that's kind of what I do with my clients is kind of 2 to 3 big ones, and then let's pick one of those to focus on first.
Yep.
Max 2, maybe they'll tie in together. Weight
Mhm.
loss may accompany some of your running, whatever. Anyways, and then we have some little goals. So, what I wanted to talk to you about and how you handle this with your clients, when do you think it's appropriate to abandon goals? When is it time to reevaluate and see, was this too big? Um, when if a client just wants to give up on something, what would you do? What do you do? Because that happens.
So, well, it's funny. It actually happens more often than not, to be completely honest with you. And it's sad because I don't want to say that that's like a reflection of us as trainers, but it's a reflection of the consistency, right? Of the client. Like we are giving you and myself both to our clients. We are giving them the tools they need to be successful. If it's on us, like as in they've tracked their food date like to a T and something's not right, then that's up to us trainers. I feel to make that change. Like, hey, you know what? This isn't what I wanted to see. But you're doing everything you're supposed to do, right? So there's kind of two different scenarios. If they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, then I'm going to change something on my own. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing and yet still not even complaining but saying like I'm still not there, I'm still not doing this, I'm like, okay, well, what can we do better? Number one. What can we do better? Like, look at your tracking the last week, though. You're not being consistent. It's honestly, it's being lazy. And it's like, so I have to be real with them. Or if they decide all around, like, I mean, I guess if we're just not getting there or they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to, like, let's revamp. What's the next goal? Like, I don't even think about the long term. I think about just what comes next. What's the goal for this weekend? Like, Sundays is a good day for that. Like, I'll ask my clients, like, what are you gonna do today? Are you meal prepping? Are you getting everything ready to set yourself up for the week? So it's really more like, okay, if we can't hit this goal, then I don't even want to worry about any of these other goals here because this goal hasn't even been met yet. So we need to scale it back. What's the goal by the end of this week? I mean, as short as that. What do you want to do
Yeah.
by the end of today? So I
Yeah.
think that is what I do with my clients.
So I am similar in that if I notice that we're consistently not reaching goals, not and little goals that we set, we do always have some kind of goal for the week, even if it's one small habit. If we're consistently not hitting these things, then I look at, have I been consistent as a coach with them? Have I been checking in? Have I been giving them the tools that they need?
Yep.
Like if someone's struggling with knee pain, have I been giving them the proper strengthening exercises to make sure that they're not dealing with that anymore and emotionally struggling with that? So I check myself first, whether or not they've said anything. Have I just noticed that some things aren't happening, or if they've told me, they're frustrated about progress, and I look at myself first. But then for reevaluation, like you, I kind of scale back. For one thing, sometimes the goal itself may have been driven by negativity. It could have been driven by self hatred, which is a really poor way to set goals.
Yes.
That just little to no positive outcomes come from you can't hate yourself into a body you love, right? So, like, maybe their goal came from self-hatred, maybe it came from a negative family member or something like that, maybe they never divulged that to us,
Yeah.
and so now that's kind of seeping through, and that's not enough of a why to get you through the hard times. It's
Right.
someone else's why for you, it's not yours. So, and maybe there's life changes happens all the time, injuries, surgeries, illness, family death, and so, like you, what can we do? Reevaluation of goals is not wrong. It's not always giving up if you have a plan thereafter. Giving up is when you're just like, screw it. I'm going to eat all these Cheetos. I don't care if I'm fat forever. Like, okay, this
Uh-huh.
maybe not a way to give up a goal.
Right.
Reevaluating is okay, this goal is too hard for me right now, or it wasn't a good idea. What can I focus on instead?
Yep. I like that. I mean, I feel a good example for that is like protein intake, almost like protein intake, because that is one of the quote unquote hardest things
You're
that my
saying like like a smaller,
right.
easier
Like,
goal. Yeah.
I will usually give my clients, like, one of my gals that I have right now, she's at 2,400 calories. We're in a major, major reverse. And I mean, she hit her goal every single day up until one day she goes, oh my gosh, like, this is really hard. It's killing me. So when I saw her in person, I was like, hey, I was like, so I don't want you to get yourself to the point where you feel like you're going to throw up. I don't want that. I want you to get to what you can and, do what you can, strive for a little extra. And if you can't, stop. And then let's see where that takes us. But I told her, I was like, but you've already done it a few times. So I know you can do this. So it's so situational and it's so specific. But the thing is,
Yeah.
we need to scale it back, which, like, I would rather scale it back and have this be a little bit slower than keep trying and trying and we
Yeah.
fail every time. So
And
I'd
burn
rather,
them out.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'd rather, like, get that so they actually can maintain something for a little bit and then, okay, so we're good with this. Now let's bump it up a notch kind of thing, you know?
And the same for myself because we
Yeah.
get burnt and we set big lofty goals and we our clients' goals have to come before our own. And so many of our big goals get shoved to the side. And so for me, I have to scale back. Okay, I didn't get the 4 workouts in this week I should have and wanted to. What can I do? Oh, this workout is so not happening today. What can I do instead? Or I have to hit the drive-thru or I'm not gonna eat. I shouldn't skip a meal. So what's the best choice I can make at McDonald's? Like the same thing I practice with myself, that I do with my clients. I can always do something, and something is always better than that. That's the biggest thing with the goals is people need to understand something is always better than nothing. And oftentimes that little something is better than trying to do it perfectly or do the big thing for a short amount of time.
Exactly. And I love that. And you know what? And I love that you share that with your clients too. Like, I see it on your Instagram stories all the time. Hey, I do not feel like doing this, but here I am, and it's,
Yeah.
again, like we've talked about in previous episodes, the days that you don't feel like doing it are the days that you need to go and do it.
Yep.
It's going to make you feel so much better. Like today, we were working the day after Christmas. We hosted all day yesterday. I'm exhausted. My
Right?
voice is gone. I sound like a man, but yet I was like, I need to go and just move my body today.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I didn't do heavy weight or anything like that. I literally just did some like body weight stuff. I did some band stuff. I just moved and I already feel better, and I was like, okay, as much as I did one run and I was like, okay, my legs cannot handle that today. But it's to me, but I still felt accomplished. I'm like, I was still here today and I could have slept in even more and stayed in my nice, warm, comfy bed. But instead, I was like, nope, you're holding yourself to this and you have to hold yourself accountable too. Like us coaches can only do so much to hold you accountable, but it's you
For
at the
sure.
end of the day that has to do it.
I think that's the thing too that I struggle with myself as well. When it comes to reassessing goals, is am I giving up on this? Am I giving up on myself again? Because you have to hold yourself accountable. And like the biggest thing is goal, like stop breaking your promises to yourself. Stop it. Only you can hold yourself accountable. But again, if you have put in 5 days a week workouts and you suddenly had a death in the family or you broke your ankle, like okay, probably not giving up on yourself. So I wanna talk about that, the goal setting. I wanna start with don't, so we end with the do's. But the big one is when it comes to abandoning a goal, don't abandon it when emotions are high. When you are hungry and you've come home from a long day of work, screw it, and I'm gonna eat all the Cheetos. Like, I don't know why
Yep.
I'm picking on Cheetos, they're delicious. You can eat them if you want, but, anyways, maybe say, okay, I'm really hungry. I've been really hungry for weeks. I don't want to do this anymore, but let me see how I feel in the morning. Because a lot of times those negative feelings will subside and you'll feel renewed the next day. But if you're still like, nope, screw this, something's not right, great. But then again, let's not abandon with no game plan. We're not going to say, screw it all. This is a dumb idea. Okay, what can I do instead to improve my health? Because most of us need
Mhm.
to improve our health. All right, so let's
Yep.
pick a new goal. So if you're going to reassess if emotions are high, reassess the next day,
Hmm.
or at least several hours later when things have cooled off for yourself or you've been able to talk with somebody, and then have a game plan after that. So that's
Yeah.
my don't is don't do it when emotions are high.
Hmm.
And my do. Um, and then don't let someone else set the goal for you. It's not their body, it's not their life.
Right. I'm writing this down. I
Um,
really like it.
aw.
I know. I was like, that's really good. So don't
Don't
do
be
it.
too vague and open-ended, but the do side of that is, okay, we can like you said, we can have a big broad goal. Those are great. And most clients come to us with that. Then what stepping stones are we gonna lay out for ourselves to get
Yep.
to the big goal? And then important parts of that to me are you need to create a game plan for barriers. I'm sure you're doing this with your clients all the time. Oh man, I just started a cut and I have to travel for work.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's look up meal prep places in your area. There's none. It's a, gung ho town or whatever. Ho
There's
down.
got to be a grocery store.
I do like such George Bushisms, you'll find. I, I intermingle like analogies and examples. Anyways, you're right. Grocery store.
Yes. I
Um,
literally just had a conversation with one of my guys online. He's like, I got to travel for work next week. And I was like, cool, let's look up. I was like, look up where you're staying and then what grocery store is closest. Do you have access to a microwave? If not, then get yourself some stuff that you can put in a mini fridge or a cooler. Or what fast food restaurants are around.
yep.
And I learned a lot of that actually from you, just because you are
Oh,
so good with on the road snacks. Like I said, I mean, I literally send your story, your travel highlights to all my clients
I
because
know
I'm
to
like,
do that.
she's done it.
Well, and
Here
it's
you
like that
go.
too is
So
client dependent, right? If they're going to Disney World once in a lifetime, dude, screw
go
it.
enjoy it.
Like enjoy. But we have a lot of clients who travel for work. You can't live like it's vacation every other week.
Nope.
So like you said, oh, just a little insider's tip. This is a bad thing. But you can return anything to Walmart. So before when they wouldn't give us a microwave, we'd buy a microwave and use it and then return it.
Oh my God, same with Costco.
Oh, well, good to know.
Yeah, I was like, and Costco does that. So, little tip and trick for you guys out there, just, use them for a little bit and then move
Be
on.
nice and be clean, and we kept all the little, like the little twist ties and all the things. Kept it nice. Although at Walmart, you could just return it however you want, I'm
Just don't
sure,
blow
but
up your food in there.
don't. Yeah, well, clean it if you do.
Yes.
No Zoom not gonna upgrade. Um, I had one more point. Who knows? Whatever.
That's
Oh,
okay.
one thing that I really like to like a good do with goal is kind of goal achievements is make sure you set up rewards for yourself. So we talked about setting up progressions, like check in with
Yep.
yourself every month. Am I That's another thing to do when you're reevaluating. Are you
Yep.
actually not hitting your goals? Because there are some people who they miss one workout and they've done 25 all month and they're beating us like, whoa, man. Like, no, you're achieving your goal. You're just fine. It's a great goal. You're hitting it consistently. It's not. So, first of all, look at your actual consistency. Are you, let's quote unquote, whatever it is, diet, exercise, sleep habits, are you quote unquote falling off, 4 times a month? 4 times a month, that's pretty consistent. So
That's
let's
really
keep it,
good. Yep.
right? So reevaluating, but when you're hitting those goals, reward yourself with something. And so when I was losing weight, I obviously didn't want to reward with food because that perpetuated that like food's good, bad, I can only earn it when I'm good type of thing. So I don't like that thinking. And then also like the point of weight loss is to eat less. I don't need to go nuts and have a binge day or whatever the case may be. Not that you can never reward with food, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, but I would reward myself with things that would keep me going. So like a new workout outfit that I could feel good in because
Yeah.
I lost 35 pounds, things were not fitting. So I went and
Mhm.
got something really cute and it motivated me to be in the gym more. And
Mhm.
then, I'd set up, okay, the next 5 pounds, I'm gonna get another shirt or, like
Yep.
whatever. Or like when drinking water was my goal, I'd get like a pretty Starbucks cup, like the ones that we
Wow.
buy too.
I love
That's
that.
actually
Actually,
one of the big gifts I give to my clients when they hit a goal is a pretty Starbucks cup, so they
I
keep
like
drinking.
that. I was like, that is such a good idea. And I guess subconsciously, I've done that without even thinking about it. I'm like, "Ooh, I got these new workout leggings. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
wear these today." Like, I mean, it's literally my whole outfit right now is all from Christmas, so that was nice.
Yep. So reward yourself. Be proud of your goals. Set up a reward system. It's fun. It's part of
Yeah.
what, too, like if you even little rewards, like I would only watch certain shows when I was doing cardio. So it's like
Oh, yeah.
even the little short term, like I hate cardio, but I get to reward myself by doing, the stair climber while I'm watching my favorite show. So it
Right.
kind of ties in something that you may be dreading with something you're excited about,
Yeah.
and it makes it easier to achieve. So
I love that because no matter what, I think the whole concept, what I've gotten out of this especially is if you did not hit that goal for today, then yes, pick a new goal that's something a little bit more attainable for you. That way, it's still something to be accomplished and feel good about, and just know, and that you're never failing. You're not failing at it. It's just we want to get something done of somewhere in and around your fitness journey. Whether that's, you know what, I at least got my meal prep in today, or I ate some pretty good stuff for my breakfast and lunch. Dinner, I might go out a little overboard, but at least, what, I hit this, and my protein goal was met today. So I'm okay with
I'd
that.
argue you're failing if you just totally give up and just
Exactly.
stop.
You're failing.
And
Yes.
you don't take any kind of lessons from why you gave up. Why did
Yep.
it not work out? That's fail. But if
Exactly.
you start again, and
Mhm.
continue your journey on and take what lessons you can, like, okay, keto didn't work because I really like carbs.
Yep.
Okay, great. Let's start a new plan. Keto didn't fail.
Right.
It's not like you fail. It just didn't work for you right now,
Yep.
and so now we're going to take that lesson into the new thing. So,
Exactly. I like it.
okay.
Thank you for joining us for our little goals chit chat. Maybe a good goal to set for yourself this week would be to leave us a 5-star review, if you're so motivated. Remember that you can find us on the grams, Miss Katie Jeffers over at Body by Katie. That's Katie with an IE underscore MWF. And I can be found at buff.babe.fitness. Thanks so much for listening.